the ALCS continuing on TBS. This American League Championship Series coverage is presented by Capital One Venture Card. It's Game 3 in the best of 7 as the New York Yankees play host to the Texas Rangers, the series tied at a game apiece. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New York. I'm Ernie Johnson, John Smoltz, Ron Darling. So it's a best of 7, which has been reduced to a best of 5. The next 3 games here in New York, 2 more in Texas if they need them. The Yankees are home. The Rangers have their ace Cliff Lee going. So here's what I want to know from you two. Who's got the advantage?
Well, the advantage has fallen to Texas because of what you said. Their ace is on the mound, Cliff Lee. He's been pretty good. If you look at the numbers, he's been more than pretty good. He's been dominant. In the postseason, he has redefined what mastery of a strike zone is. He had 2 big wins against Tampa Bay. And for Texas, it could be the first time that they feel like they have the edge, because all Cliff Lee does is start the game. He's the middleman, and in some cases, he's the closer. So, Ron, that's why Texas feels pretty good.
Well, you think about it this way, though. Andy Pettit's a pretty good closer, too, himself. He's been outstanding in the postseason, of course. 19 wins in his 41 starts. 37 with the Yankees when they're 25-12. But he's got to get some help with the offense. The offense has not been good except for Robinson Cano. You can see there, 4 for 32 with only a double, Ernie.
Cliff Lee tonight, Andy Pettit tonight, Texas Rangers, New York Yankees. Game 3. Something's got to give. Next. Where the temperature is 55 degrees. They talked about a little rain in the forecast, but not until later tonight and into the early morning hours, so we should be in good shape. This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. The 4th member of our crew once again tonight is Craig Sager. Craig.
Thanks, EJ. Before the game today, Rangers hitting coach Clint Hurdle took the entire coaching staff and the front office on a tour of Monument Park. Porto has been paying tribute to the history and tradition of Yankee greats like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Thurman Munson on every trip to Yankee Stadium since his rookie year in 1978 with Kansas City. As for the players, the tour was off limits. Ron Washington said, "I don't want nostalgia to hit them. I want them to come in here, take care of business, and get out of town."
Thank you very much, Greg. Yeah, Ron Washington's mantra is stay in the moment. And we are moments away from the start of Game 3. And here is the lineup that Ron Washington sends out tonight against the New York Yankees. Once again, leading it off at short is Elvis Andrus. Then it's Michael Young. Josh Hamilton in center field. The DH again, Vladimir Guerrero. Nelson Cruz in left. Ian Kinsler plays second base. With the lefty on the mound, Jeff Francoeur gets the start in right field. Benji Molina behind the plate. And Mitch Moreland, the first baseman, hits ninth as they face Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, facing Andy Pettitte, all he's done is pretty much dominated the ALCS, 7-1 with a 3.73. And if you're a hitter, don't look at his eyes. Don't look at that glove, Ron, because he's got one of the fiercest stares in all of baseball postseason history. And if you're the Yankees, you're not worried about who's facing Andy Pettitte, because you've got your version as well.
Yeah, best tunnel vision in postseason history than Andy Pettitte.
John, you got a little postseason experience against Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, let's not bring it up.
That was 1996, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were 1-1. I got lucky to win the first game, and then he won the game 5, 1-0. So he's tough as he gets. And you know what? On 6+ days rest in his career, 22-16, and he's had a few days rest.
Yes, he has. Back 10 nights off after starting Game 2 of the ALDS. He will be pitching tonight in his 30th series. 256 innings of work in the postseason for Andy Pettitte. How about that Yankee defense, Ron?
Well, they played outstanding all postseason long. And in the outfield, they have lots of speed with Gardner and Granderson. Nick Swisher, very capable in right field. All gold in the infield. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter. Cano should get a gold glove after a Gio this year. Mark Teixeira at first base. And Jorge Posada doing the catching. Robinson Cano this season. No errors here at Yankee Stadium.
The atmosphere as you would expect. Just outstanding tonight for Game 3 in a series that's tied 1-1.
One thing to look for, a rare stat, Ron. First batters of the game in 21 starts. Now 22nd, batting 500 in their first plate appearance of the game. So,
and you have to watch out for Andrus. He's great at putting that butt down at this advanced age for a pitcher. Andy Pettitte does not get around as well as he used to.
He had 12 bunt hits in the regular season, 34 infield hits, and led off Game 2 with an infield hit and came around to score. Andrus at the plate. Here comes Pettitte. And Game 3 is underway. Andrus hitting .355 in the postseason and .429, 3 out of 7 in this series. Reached on that infield hit, stole a couple of bags, including home on a double steal. And right away, Pettitte ahead 0-2. Tapped. Pettitte made the play. There's your answer. The 38-year-old bouncing off the mound to make that play. Here are the umpires for tonight's Game 3. Jim Reynolds behind the plate. Angel Hernandez at first. Field and Culbreth at second. And Brian Gorman makes the calls at third. On the left field line, it's Jerry Davis. And on the right field line, Tony Randazzo. Here's Michael Young. pitches, 4 strikes.
One of the things you want to look for early in the game, Jim Reynolds, home plate umpire, how big is his strike zone? Bigger it gets, the more difficult to be on the position players today.
No balls and 2 strikes to Michael Young.
Well, for Andy Pettit, he's already had the first 2 hitters the way you want. 0-2 hitters hit 0-87 against Andy Pettit. A big reason he can wear you out inside when he gets ahead. So if he gets that outer part of the plate, Ron, and then can bury you inside, it's going to be a really tough challenge for the Rangers.
Just missed the ball and 2 strikes.
Well, offensively, this tells me that you're going to have to start going to right field if you're a right-handed hitter for the Texas Rangers. Most of the fastballs now have been on the outside part.
Young is the longest tenured member of this Texas Ranger team. Played in a team-high 157 games this season. And he stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes. See Josh Hamilton. Just 3 for 23 in the series, in the postseason, I should say, waiting on deck. Here comes a 2-2.
Just like the second game of this series, this Texas team battled you with 2 strikes. 10 two-strike hits so far in this series.
And for a pitcher, that'll drive you nuts, Ron. I mean, you got the advantage with 2 strikes. You got to make those pitches to put the hitters away.
The count full to the number 2 hitter in the Texas lineup.
See that pitch just off the plate. Good call by Jim Reynolds.
Got away with one there.
Now, if you're the Texas bench and manager Ron Washington, you're saying to yourself, this is a successful at bat. Even if he doesn't get a hit here, he's pushed up the pitch count. All the hitters have seen more of Andy's pitches.
Toward right center field. That'll get down. Granderson cuts it off. And Michael Young has the game's first hit.
Michael Young in this lineup does sometimes just wear you out. Beautiful swing. That's a pitcher's pitch. Down and away. Still able to hit that ball to right field. 11 two-strike hits now in this series for the Rangers.
And the difference in that at bat is he worked it to a full count. You know, a 3-2 situation is more neutral than an 0-2, 1-2 where the pitcher really has an advantage. So great at bat for Michael Young to get to a 3-2 count.
Here's Josh Hamilton. He's 1 out of 5 in the series. That first one in his first at bat in game 1. A bullet over the wall and right in Arlington. Pettit's got a great move to first as he's looked over at Michael Young and then delivered. 2-0.
Andy's made some kind of adjustment on left-handed batters this year. They're only hitting 186. They had a much higher batting average than you would think off a left-hander for his career. So he's really stepped it up in that category.
Talk about the pickoff move and the success that Andy Pettit has had. 110 pickoffs in his career, including the postseason.
And most base runners would say that's 110 balks. Greatest balk move ever.
Deep right by Hamilton. Back toward that wall, and the Rangers are on the board. Josh Hamilton has 2 hits in this series, and they've both gone deep.
Watching him in BP today, he was launching pitch after pitch over the wall. And what makes him so difficult to pitch to, he didn't even get that ball. That was off the end of the bat. He was able to flip it over that right field wall.
Here's Vladimir Guerrero. Hamilton hit 32 home runs in the regular season, which was tied for 5th in the American League, and has hit his 2nd now of this series. (2-0) from Pettit to Guerrero. The series stands 1-1. Yankees general manager Brian Cashman saying he felt that his team, the Yankees, was fortunate to be in that position, saying he thought the Rangers had outplayed him for 16 out of 18 innings.
Well, they certainly have outplayed them in the first 3 innings. They've outscored the Yankees 10-0 in the first 3 innings of ball games.
They had jumped out to 5-0 leads in each of the first 2 games. You know what happened in Game 1, that huge 8th inning for the Yankees as they took the opener. That ball's hit to right. And Nick Swisher makes the play, 2 down. Well, Nelson Cruz steps to the plate now, and he has had a great postseason. 11 out of 27, hitting .407. 3 homers, all solo.
Missed 2 other home runs by a total of about 3 feet. He was put on such a power display, Nelson Cruz.
Talking to Ron Washington, these next 2 batters really had missed a lot of time, and they feel, and he feels, they're fresh and, getting back into their groove, get a lot of power, give left-handers a whole lot of trouble.
Cruz only played in 108 games. Hamstring. He went on the DL a few times, and that limited his time, but still in that limited amount of play, he hit 22 home runs and knocked in 78 runs. He waits on a 1-2 with 2 down here in the first from Pettit. He goes down swinging, but the Texas Rangers jump out on top. Josh Hamilton, a 2-run shot as we head to the bottom of the first. Bottom half of the first inning. Here's the batting order for the reigning world champion, Derek Jeter. He leads it off at short, followed by Nick Swisher and then Mark Teixeira. Alex Rodriguez in the cleanup spot. Robinson Cano, and then Marcus Tin for DH. 7, 8, 9, Posada, Granderson, and Brett Gardner to face Cliff Lee.
Well, Cliff Lee, as we talked about, 2-run lead now, the quiet crowd that you're not used to at Yankee Stadium. He's got a battle on his hands. I know his statistics are incredible, but that Yankee lineup, you've got to have to, they'll wear you down.
We were talking to Reggie Jackson before the game today. He said he lost this year, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He lost 9 times. Just to assure us that no one's invincible.
Derek Jeter takes high and away, 1-0. Jeter has reached safely in 21 straight postseason games. And he's 3 out of 9 in this series.
The one thing Cliff Lee does, besides not walk anybody, is he's got a great fastball that's a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer, and his cutter is just lethal. It doesn't look like much, but to the hitter, it's late, and it gets it off the barrel of the bat. Right there. He throws it off his fastball, and then he's got a knuckle curveball that he goes 12-6 basically, and creates a change of speed and a change of quadrants for the hitters.
He's one of the few guys, though, that can throw that cutter backdoor and also in on the right-hander. And for strikes.
What you see here tonight is a Yankee team that's very patient at the plate. They like to work counts, but that's not the greatest strategy against a guy like Cliff Lee.
Well, it's almost like in the AL East, it's in every hitter's DNA to work the hitter, work the pitcher, take a lot of pitches.
But if you're too patient against Lee, suddenly you find yourself down 0-2. Here, Jeter has run the count full as he leads it off in the bottom of the first.
Well, it makes Lee so tough. He can throw any one of his 4 pitches right now in a 3-2 count. So the hitter still doesn't know what's coming.
To right field. Francoeur back on the track. 1 down. One thing you get used to here, any fly ball to right field looks like it's got a chance. And everybody in the ballpark feels the same way. Here's the defense for Texas.
Cruz in left field, Hamilton outstanding in center field. Nice play by Jeff Francoeur. Michael Young, Elvis Andrews, Ian Kinsler, and Mitch Moreland gets the start over Jorge Cantu, and doing the catching, the veteran with 2 gold gloves, Benji Molina.
One thing I got to quit doing, because my job depends on, I got to quit covering my eyes when it goes to right field. It's just an instant thing, you know. Don't see it.
I've seen you flinch over here. Here's Nick Swisher. Against Texas this year, he's just 4 for 36 with 15 strikeouts. However, when Cliff Lee was still pitching for Seattle, he came in here and pitched a complete game, but did give up 2 home runs to this guy at the plate. 1-1.
There's the 2-seamer right there. Starts down the middle of the plate, just fades away from a right-hander at 86. He can rush it up there now in his 4-seamer and get plus 94 miles an hour. But he really works off of that command of the outside. You think he's leaning out, and then he runs that cutter inside and makes it awfully difficult.
Well, there's the much ballyhooed hat of Mr. Lee. Uses that rosin, always touches the same part of his hat. Front of his hat and the back of his hat. He leaves a residue of rosin on his lid.
Right back to him. Lee guns it to first. 2 down. And there's been some talk about the hat. Joe Girardi says, look, rosin's legal, it's fine, no big thing. There have been others who have made more of an issue out of it. And Cliff Lee was asked about it yesterday, and he said, I don't know where I'd be without that hat. I don't think I could get it done. So he took the lighthearted approach in response to the hat and the rosin and the whole bit. Here's Mark Teixeira. He's 0 for 8 in the series. To the point you made in our pregame segment, Ron, that outside of Robinson Cano, there have not been many of the big boppers get the done.
His success has camouflaged the problems offensively for the Yankees in this series. Teixeira was quoted, though. He said it's difficult at this time of year against pitchers like Cliff Lee to have those big 4-for-4 games. So you really want to make sure that the hits you do get are quality hits. Maybe you're not going to get the quantity like you do during the season, but the quality is important.
The first strikeout of the night for Cliff Lee, and a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Avocados. This is the big hit from the previous game. Game 2, Ian Kinsler delivering the triple out of the reach of Nick Swisher as the Rangers even the series, which has us here at Yankee Stadium in a 1-1 series and a 2-0 game. Texas getting 2 in the first on the 2-run shot by Josh Hamilton. And here's Kinsler. That ball hit down the line and fouled.
John, you were talking about before that Nelson Cruz, who missed some games, and Ian Kinsler, who missed some games, probably their freshest player. Kinsler missed a couple times, one for a high ankle sprain, and the second time a groin injury. Ball about a foot foul. Sometimes when you break the player's bat, which they did then, it'll stay fair because it won't hook as much.
He's a guy that loves that left field line. Boy, it's where a lot of his power numbers come from. But to your point, Ron, when they were missing both him and Cruz, they struggled there for a while facing some left-handers because they didn't have much options. They didn't have right-handers to come in.
They say Brian Gorman and Jerry Davis had that ball covered on the left field line. 2-1. Kinzer has knocked in 7 runs in the postseason. 1 in this series on that triple we just showed you.
I always think that he'd give Andy Pettit a tough time because he likes that ball middle of the plate in. Almost takes away that cutter.
Kinsler took a step toward first. And Jim Reynolds said stay right there. Full count. That ball's hit to left, but Brett Gardner is right there. Jeff Francoeur at the plate now has handled himself pretty well in the past against Andy Pettit. 6 out of 11 with a homer.
Not much has changed with Frenchie's hitting technique since your days of being his teammate. He loves that first pitch.
He does, and mechanically he's changed a couple things. The reason why he's popping up a lot of balls and missing those pitches that he once would golf out of here.
To third. 2 down. What do you say we take a look at Yankee Stadium with the perspectives courtesy of Sony PlayStation's MLB 10 The Show.
Well, that 314 plays like 280.
I was going to say, you've pitched here before, John. When you're on the mound, how close to that does that right field wall look?
It's not only is that close, but your right fielder looks like he's shaking hands with the second baseman.
There's Benji Molina. He takes a strike. Pettit started the year 5-0 with an ERA of 1.79, and through July 18th was 11-2. Jumps ahead 0-2, and then came that left groin strain, and then came all the uncertainty round, but he answered all the questions in Game 2 of the ALDS.
He did, but they had to really rush him back. He was starting to run out of starts to get ready for the postseason, but he answered all the critics with 7 innings of fine work against the Twins.
Andy Pettit on an 0-2 count. Pretty amazing. Only giving up 4 hits all year. And they've all been singles, to show you what that 0-2 count means in his favor.
A 1-2-3, top of the second for Pettit. They go to the bottom half. Gamecock leaderboard. And in the category of fewest base runners per 9 innings, there's the name at the top of the list. Tonight's starter for Texas, Cliff Lee. About 9 a game.
Trevor Cahill, a lot of people don't know, he had a huge year this year for the Oakland A's. Felix Hernandez, despite his .500 record, going to get consideration, I would think, for the Cy Young. He and CC with his 21 wins.
Alex Rodriguez waves at the 1-0 and the count even. A-Rod is 2 for 10 in the series, 5 for 21 in the postseason. Does have a couple of career home runs against Cliff Lee. He's 0 for 8 against lefties in this postseason.
One of the things that you always encounter when you face Cliff Lee is he likes to quick pitch. He likes to work really fast, and sometimes it's hard to get in that box and settle before the pitch is on its way.
Two is foul away. In the ALDS in those 2 starts against the Tampa Bay Rays, both on the road, ERA of 1.13, allowed 11 hits in those 16 innings of work, struck out 21, walked nobody. And Rodriguez caught looking. Second straight strikeout for Cliff Lee.
Well, what you see here is a classic case of just teasing him outside. First pitch cutter goes down, and then you've got another 2-seamer that just takes off, then he gets the cutter in. The foul ball right here sets up the next pitch. Out there again, and then he's just going to backdoor it. See ya.
So what you have as a hitter is you have a ball running away from you, and then he starts the ball outside and he comes back over the outside part, and you give up on it.
Well, here's Robinson Cano. And he has been the offense for the Yankees in this series. 5 out of 9, 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Hit a tape measure shot in game 2 at Texas. Broke his bat right at Elvis Andrews. 2 down.
Well, what makes it so tough, not only for the hitter, but probably the umpires, that when he misses, with the exception of his curveball, everything looks like a strike. I mean, he's just missing. His curveball will be the one that he can bounce and really make it look like a ball if he gets an aggressive hitter to swing at. But everything else is right around the corners of the plate.
Now here's the DH, Marcus Timms.
And there it is. If you try to be aggressive as a hitter, try to swing at that first pitch so you don't get behind, he throws a quality pitch down in the strike zone. Not a good pitch to be swinging at.
Oh, it's amazing beyond the numbers that we opened with and seen. He has not had a game in the postseason where he's thrown less than 72 strikes in the game. Some guys don't even get to 72 pitches.
When I hear a future Hall of Famer speaking about a guy with such shock and reverence in your voice, you know that the guy's got something.
It defies everything that is going on in the game today, which is it is totally impressive. Because let's face it, Ron, when you're pitching in the playoffs or big games, you're almost apt to pitch around some of their great hitters. It just calls for it. His way of pitching around them is in the strike zone, and it's not anywhere thought of, I'm going to try to walk you.
And among those great numbers that you'll always look at with him, the walks per 9 innings, 0.8.
His last start against the Tampa Bay Rays, 89 strikes out of his 120 pitches.
the starting pitcher's numbers there, and Cliff Lee with some pretty darn good company.
And wherever he goes, I expect that to continue with opportunities in the postseason.
1-2 on the way. Missed with a breaking pitch, count even.
Well, we're in the second inning here. That to me was the first pitch that he didn't throw it where he wanted to. The first.
Timms has one homer in this postseason. It came in Game 3 of the ALDS, the clincher for the Yankees as he went the other way. He's 2 out of 6 in this series. And he is Cliff Lee's third strikeout victim. And 2 innings are in the books. After Conan. Don't miss new episodes starting November 8th at midnight only on TBS. Mitch Moreland leads it off in the top half of the third for Texas. He swung a good bat in this series. Got a pinch hit single off of Rivera in Game 1. Went 2 out of 3 in Game 2.
This is where the experience in postseason can really help Andy Pettit. It's not going to be any panic, just trying to get to a place where he's executing his pitches. You know, you get a younger pitcher, he'd be like, I can't give up another run, no chance now. It's a ball. Feel like that. 42nd postseason start tonight.
We saw the 9 home runs on the graphic for Moreland, which was 4th among American League rookies. Brennan Bosch had 14 to lead the first-year class. He's a product of Mississippi State. This is the guy they toyed with the idea of turning into a pitcher.
Well, I think it really speaks to how they believe, Ron Washington and staff, what good at bats he's taken, that he's playing tonight against the lefty and not Jorge Cantu.
There is Cantu, who started game 1 of both the ALDS and the ALCS. Look at that firewood. And Cano makes the play, going down.
Well, a fastball that he just gets off the end of the bat. That's why it breaks like that, and Cano is able to get over and tighten up Andy Pettitte with the first guy getting out. That's so important in the postseason, is to get that first guy out. You know, you see a lot of things. The Yankees had a lot of runners on in game 2, but a lot of runners with 2 outs. So therefore, you need the big 2-out hit. They didn't get it. Always felt that that first batter was that big of a difference in the postseason.
Elvis Andrus takes a strike in the first. Hit a little dribbler that Andy Pettitte came off the mound to field and make the play. And as always, when Andrus is at the plate, corner infielders in at the edge of the grass. He's the energizer for this Texas offense.
You know, in that first inning, I thought Andy got off the mound really quick, and Andrus got out of the box a little bit slower than normal because the left-hander has a little bit of an advantage there, Ron, where he can just grab it, turn, and throw. But a great test passed for Andy Pettitte.
The count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrus just a kid. He's 22 and just turned 22 in August.
Talking to Scott Service, who's over there with Texas Rangers. They said when they got him over from Atlanta, they sat him down, they talking to him, they had dinner. He said, "Who's your favorite player?" He said, "Derek Jeter." Why? Because he's a leader and a winner, and that's what I am. And at 19 years old, pretty incredible at that age to have that insight.
Another payoff pitch there. Pettitte's gone full on a fuse.
He said then they knew they not only had a pretty dynamic player, but one that at an early age wanted to be like Derek Jeter. Here he is playing against him.
Easy play for Robinson Cano, 2 down. Well, here's Michael Young, who got the Rangers jump-started in the first. After Andrus had grounded out, he singled and then came around to score on Josh Hamilton's 2-run homer. That's where we stand. Top 3, 2-0.
That serves you pretty well. When your second-place hitter can have 21 home runs, pop at the top of the lineup.
Since that homer, Pettitte has retired 7 straight.
Andy Pettitte has started with a lot of slow stuff to get strikes, a lot of first pitch curveballs, but a backdoor cutter and sliders, and he's just missing. I mean, he's just a hair off from being pretty darn good on the corner of the plate.
It's almost like early in the count. Sorry, Ernie. He's trying to see how much of the plate or just off the plate he can get from home plate umpire Jim Reynolds.
How much of a function might that be of the layoff of 10 days since his last start?
I think he looks pretty sharp. I mean, it's hard to say that after giving the 2-run home run to Hamilton, but he's got some life on his fastball. Like John said, he's just missing his spots just by a little bit. Usually when you have that with a pitcher the quality of Andy Pettit, he'll start to settle in.
You can see he was mad right there. One of the things that usually, to your point, Ernie, or to your question, would be the curveball and the slider are going to be two of the pitches that you would struggle with the most from command. You know they're going to break, but where you want to put them, that's that release point, and that's that every 5 days getting out there, you get a good feel of it. Here he's trying to throw it, and he's just not really happy with where it was.
Sometimes as soon as you let it go, you want it back.
And for the third time this inning, the count is full.
Well, this is Michael Young at his best in his first 2 at-bats. He is known as a pesky hitter, a good 2-strike hitter. We saw the shaking off by Andy of that sign. What happened is that the last time he was up 3-2, he threw the fastball away. Cost him a hit to right field. That time tried to counter with a cutter in.
Jeter in the hole. Can't get him.
Great job by Michael Young. Another 2-strike hit by the Rangers. What happened on this play is Jeter gets to it, but he didn't get his legs underneath him, and once he jumped, he didn't have anything on that throw. We've seen him make this play 100 times, but see, he had to take
traveled.
that little.
Yeah,
he traveled. There you go.
I saw it right away.
But just like that other sport, it wasn't called. So here's Josh Hamilton. First time he just kind of reached out and yanked one over the wall and right.
Michael Young with about a 3-foot lead, still scrambling to get back.
Hey, look, that was a one-way lead. What they mean by that is you know you're not going. You're just trying not to get picked off, and the one-way lead almost got him picked off.
Young has extended that lead to 3.5 feet this time. In case you're just joining us, here's what happened in the first.
Slider over the middle of the plate, like you said, Ron, he just flipped it. Didn't have to hit it very far enough.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The 2 home runs he's hit, both on hanging sliders from CC Sabathia and tonight from Andy.
Another broken bat. And Cano takes care of it. By Capital One Venture Card. And at Yankee Stadium, we move to the bottom half of the third inning. Jorge Posada, Curtis Granderson, Brett Gardner due for New York, as they seek their first hit off Cliff Lee. Posada 1 out of 7 in this series with 3 strikeouts. Two balls and a strike from Lee to Posada.
You're always looking for reasons during the game as you face a guy who's obviously on top of his game, a crack in the armor or this or that. One of the things that's not in the Yankees' favor is this guy gets tougher and tougher the second and third time through the order.
And there is strikeout number 4. And the second looking. If you're just joining us here on TBS, welcome. It's the ALCS Game 3. Tied up at a game apiece, and the Rangers have jumped out on top with a 2-run homer in the first from Josh Hamilton. So Cliff Lee took the mound with that 2-0 lead. And the Yankees have yet to solve it. Granderson takes a strike. Lee has struck out 4 of the last 5 Yankees.
Throws the ball in the corner, throws it about 3 inches off the corner, then probably will come in with his fastball. Working quickly, throwing strikes, changing speeds. You can always win.
Off the corner, 1-2. To the point you made, John, about getting stronger, it was almost as if in that first start of the ALDS, Tampa Bay loaded the bases against him, did not score, and it was like, well, you had your chance.
Yeah, well, the numbers bear it. 242 the first time through the order, 117 the second time, and 148 the third time.
Is your jaw dropping at Cliff Lee numbers again?
Wow. It's just a wow.
Ran it inside, missed. The count even at 2-2. Two up, 2 down. Here's Craig.
Well, Cliff Lee altered his route to the ballpark today. He took the team bus. A year ago, when he was with the Phillies before Game 1 of the World Series against the Yankees, he took a cab, got caught in New York traffic, hopped out, ran to the subway, bought his Metro card, hopped on the D train, got off 161st Street. Although he was able to absorb the task, pitched a 9-inning win, he said he was a nervous wreck. Tonight, he didn't want to take any chances.
Thank you, Craig. Yeah, he beat C.C. Sabathia in the World Series opener.
Those Benton, Arkansas boys, they don't spend too much time on the subway.
Hey, can I just tell you, all the years of coming to New York, and obviously every city has some traffic, there were days where we were in the locker room an hour before the game time, and I was getting excited thinking I was going to play right field because the rest of the team wasn't here yet. And inevitably, they'd always show up in time and ruin the dream.
Cliff Lee has a 9-year-old son, Jackson, who plays Little League. Cliff doesn't get to see that much, but the other day pitching and struck out the side. Look at the play by Brett Gardner, but this time they get him at first. A dive got him there safely in that big 8th inning of game 1, but this time he's retired. And it's 3 up and 3 down. By AT&T, and Conan premieres November 8th right here on TBS. Vlad Guerrero leading it off in the 4th. We'll get back to that play that ended the 3rd in just a second. 0-2 to Guerrero.
How did you know if Guerrero's in a slump? He takes these kind of swings all the time, and the next thing you know, hits one out of the park.
Would not chase, and it's 1-2. Guerrero flied to right his first time. He's 1 out of 10 in the series. Third strikeout for Andy Pettitte. So here is the Gardner at bat as Lee gets over.
Well, the reason this play even has a chance is the first baseman gets rid of it right away. Ron, as opposed to the other day, Cantu held on to the ball a little too long.
That's right, but right here you can see that Lee over the top of Gardner there, but it looked like his hand was in before the foot of Cliff Lee. It's just whether Gardner touched first base. If he did, then he was there before the foot. his left hand missed the base. That's what happened. He was there in time, must have felt the cleat of Cliff Lee getting close and just missed the bag.
In fact, Gardner went back to the dugout. Joe Girardi was going to argue, and he said it was the right call. Well, with one out, Nelson Cruz at the plate.
It's rare you see that, Ernie, twice in two games and escape injury both times.
Yeah.
I mean, something bad can happen. I know it's a great hustle play, and you even heard him say sometimes he feels like he can get there faster, sliding head first.
Yeah, he definitely would have been saved. Great hustle by Gardner, who started that 8th inning 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. But see his left hand? It's going to the bag, and it veers to foul territory as he was trying to make sure he wasn't stepped on by Cliff Lee. That made the play for Lee.
But it went upstairs. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Cruz struck out his first time. Pettit has fanned 3. Pettit has fanned 4. We told you at the top of the inning,
I love
the Conan blimp up there, and we've seen all those spots with Conan inside of the blimp.
It was this was awesome.
Look at, you got Kareem back there.
We had a blast.
Kareem is sporting that short sleeve white shirt, John. Nice.
I mean, he was talking my ear off about golf and everything. It was fun.
There's Ian Kinsler. With nobody on, 2 down in the 4th. Kinsler lined to Gardner and left his first time.
I know in theory this doesn't happen, Ron, but sometimes you can catch a team napping with a 2-0 lead with a great pitcher on the mound, thinking, oh, we got enough. And Andy Pettit has been around this team long enough to know that he keeps it right there. His team's going to score some runs.
Didn't mean to. Pettit will take it. 3 up, 3 down. They go to the bottom of the 4th at Yankee Stadium. MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner to sign up and watch live video companion coverage of this game and every ALCS game. Cliff Lee has set down 9 in a row, and here comes the top of the Yankee order in the 4th. Derek Jeter flied out to right his first time. He's 3 out of 10 in this series. Came in hitting .304 in the postseason.
Derek Jeter had an interesting comment when talking about Cliff Lee. He said, listen, this is the postseason. We're always facing the best teams. We're always facing the best pitchers. You have to beat these pitchers if you're going to get another championship.
Second time around for this New York order now against Lee, who's ahead 1-2.
The difference is, and he's right, this is the first time the buzz has been, You know, the Yankees have always had the advantage. They still have the advantage in this series based on the history and the world champions. This guy kind of neutralizes it on the mound and makes it a little bit more of a, what are you going to get?
Well, it's interesting. A 5-game series now you have, really. And Texas gets to use, if it goes 7, their best pitcher twice. The Yankees, because they're going to use A.J. Burnett, only used Sebastian twice in the series. Only one more time, though.
He threw it right past Derek Jeter. Moments ago, we had a chance to talk to the Rangers manager, Ron Washington, and I said, hey, Ron, this guy Lee, he's pretty good.
Right now, he's doing a good job of moving the ball around and not staying in a set pattern. And when you do that, he is pretty good.
Ron, how do you guard against being comfortable up 2-0, even though you've got your ace on the mound?
You're never comfortable until you get that 27th out. So we just got to keep battling on Andy and try to get some more runs, You feel good because you got Cliff out there, and he doesn't make too many mistakes. So this team is real dangerous, and the more runs we can try to get, the better off we're going to be. So it's a long ways to go, and the fight isn't over with yet.
Ron Washington, thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Lee has struck out 6 of the 10 Yankees he's faced. And he's behind Nick Swisher 2-0. Townsend of the Dallas Morning News wrote a tremendous profile of Cliff Lee about his life on and off the mound. There's some interesting perspective as the count goes to 3-1. But his wife, Kristen, says he's had so much success because he realizes this is a game and this is not life and death. You look at those unbelievable numbers that he has put up. Wait for a 3-1, and now the count full. But I mentioned his son Jackson last half inning, now 9 years old. When Jackson was 4 months old, he was diagnosed with a form of leukemia, had chemotherapy as an infant, and then later had to have radiation treatments. He's now a healthy 9-year-old. But it was that kind of an experience as a dad for Cliff Lee that put a lot of things in their proper place.
I'm talking with a lot of guys. His demeanor and personality fits that, Ernie, because he doesn't look bothered by much. Very methodical in how he goes about it. Not very emotional, as you can see. Stoic on the mound, sits in the dugout the same place. Does all the same things well thought out.
The 3-2 is slapped foul off the tarp.
And the irony is, pitching here against the Yankees, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and certainly the New York Yankees are going to have interest, but when you have a Nolan Ryan-led team that is really pitching deep into games, Cliff Lee would be the poster boy for the organization moving forward.
The payoff to Swisher. The tarp again. And you know what? It was the Yankees and the Rangers who were dueling for his services in July. And the Yankees thought they had a deal in place, which would have brought Cliff Lee here. And that was a package that included the standout catching prospect Jesus Montero. Again fouled off by Swisher. But it was the Texas Rangers who countered with an offer that included Justin Smoke, their highly regarded first baseman. And the Rangers wound up getting Cliff Lee. That happened on July the 9th. Again the 3-2. That's a tough at bat from Swisher. Seven strikeouts after facing 11 hitters there in the fourth. Here are the uniforms for Cliff Lee down through the years, and you almost forget, John, that in Cleveland he was demoted. He was sent to the minor leagues there. The Cliff Lee you see now, and if you're just joining in the last couple of years and say this guy's always been untouchable, he struggled for a time in Cleveland.
Well, every pitcher has a defining moment that takes their career in a place for the better, and one of those was in that setting down. You know, he was struggling with, he was walking guys. Yeah. I mean, he had obviously some mechanical things that he worked on, had 80-some walks, and now Byron up there throwing it wherever he wants to.
There was even a time, and I again refer to that Dallas Morning News story. They looked at the time in 2004 when he threw his glove 20 rows up in the stands when he was pitching against Toronto. And he said that was the frustration of 4 or 5 bad games in a row.
Yeah, and then sent to the minors, as you said, in 2007. Was left off their postseason roster with Cleveland and has turned it completely around.
When his son struck out the side in a Little League game, Grandpa called Cliff and said, "You need to see him about pitch selection."
I think Benji right there was trying to figure out where that was. If it was low, because it crossed the plate. A friendly exchange between the catcher and the umpire.
First Yankee base runner.
Well, I'd get somebody warming up. I don't know about you guys.
Yankee fans now are standing O for a 3-2 count and a walk.
So his first base on balls of this postseason.
I know it doesn't look like it on our scorecard, but the Yankees are making him work awfully hard, making him throw a lot of pitches.
to left field. Nelson Cruz chases it down for the third out. We are through 4 in the Bronx. Rangers 2, Yankees nothing. Top half of the 5th. Jeff Francoeur takes a strike. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Rangers. Nothing across for the Yankees here in Game 3.
So that batting average of Francoeur only has 1 hit in the postseason, and that was on the first pitch he saw.
He doubled off the wall off of David Price at the Trop in Game 1. Jeff able to live in an apartment, which he has here in the city, that he still had when he played with the Mets. Not staying in the hotel on this trip as he grounds to Rodriguez, who throws to Teixeira for the first out. You know, if it weren't for a pitch in the first inning to Josh Hamilton, we could be looking at a scoreless tie, and that's how we began our conversation moments ago with Joe Girardi.
And he's thrown the ball exceptionally well as Cliff Lee, and he seems to settle down nicely. His cutter's been good. Andy's cutter's been really good, and he left a slider up to Hamilton, and that's the difference.
2 good at bats by Swisher and Teixeira there in that inning,
and then a good one by Rod. Alcs hit a ball hard in the gap, and a nice catch by Nelson Cruz. But you start putting those long at bats, and you get the pitch count up, and you get some base runners, and maybe someone pops them.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have a short delay here. We don't need to show it to you. Somebody has been brought to the ground in left field.
Is that Conan?
Let's hope not.
No, it's not.
And New York City's finest are taking care of business. And it's taking a handful to get the job done.
Because he decided he didn't want to use his legs anymore.
All right, let's go back to work. One down, top five, Benji Molina. He struck out his first time. Pettit has fanned 4.
Andy very histrionic out there. Really, when he doesn't make the pitch, he's pretty angry at himself.
And he falls behind the Rangers catcher. 3 balls and no strikes.
John, you can become frustrated out there sometimes because you know the score. You know what Lee's doing on the other side, and you know you have to be perfect the rest of the way, or try to be.
Well, one of the things that time does, unfortunately, is your mind knows what you want to do. Your body just has a hard time repeating it. And that's he gets upset at himself by he knows what he wants to do. He's flown off the ball just a couple times. And
off the end of the bat. To Granderson in center. 2 down.
Look, you won't meet a more gentler man than Andy Pettit, but you won't meet a more fiercer guy on the mound. And you kind of whip yourself into that situation when you feel like you need to make that pitch. And it's just it's a self-reminder that he's telling himself, come on, let's go. It's something he's been so good at.
He's faced the Rangers once this year. That was back in April on the 18th. Went 8. Handed the ball over to Mariano Rivera for a perfect 9th. Look at that bat shattered. And Nick Swisher makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit. We're halfway home at Yankee Stadium. Is brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Cliff Lee versus Andy Pettit, these left-handers in Game 3.
Andy Pettit's done a great job. That only hiccup is that 2-run homer, and he's determined to keep it right there and give his team a chance. You've seen what Cliff Lee's doing. No hits. Tough to score.
Only one mistake by both pitchers.
More costly for Andy Pettit at this point, the 2-run shot by Josh Hamilton in the first. Here's Robinson Cano.
Well, Robinson Cano's been their best hitter against righties, and even better against lefties. 6 for 12 with a home run in the postseason.
Shortened up with Michael Young playing way back at third.
It's not a bad play, except Cliff Lee is a very good fielder, very quick. So it's not a gimme.
Interesting talking to Reggie Jackson before the game today and talking about Robinson Cano, and he said there's absolutely no tension in the man's body. He said he has the grace of Henry Aaron and the swing of Ernie Els. He waits on a 1-1 from Cliff Lee. The second. So one down here in the fifth. Here's the DH Marcus Timms. Struck out his first time. Lee has struck out 7 and walked just 1.
John, you spend your whole career trying to get your mechanics in a way that you repeat your motion over and over. Lee about as good as it gets.
He really does. And you know, the game's changed a little bit from the standpoint of how you go about getting your mechanics, and we can explore that when we get a chance. But he's more of a side to side, almost starting out of the stretch. This is his windup, almost starting out of the stretch. Gets a nice little quiet step, coils up. But I want you to notice his head is so perfectly still when he delivers the ball. Most guys, when they get their tilt and when they turn, they're more apt to tilt, bring their head away from their body, and it causes the variance of pitches. His chin goes to the plate about as good as anybody. My teammate, ex-teammate Greg Maddux, was about the best I've ever seen. That's why his mechanics were so good, because he was throwing exactly where he wanted to.
Struck him out, but the ball gets away. Molina to first. 2 down. Kay with a 2-3 for the putout. So how easy is that to teach?
Not easy at all, because it's part of what makes up a pitcher unique. I mean, everyone's delivery, everyone has the same simple balance point. They get to it at some point, but it's all different. Everything leads up to it. And so, patience, nervousness, anxiety, all the things you want to get the ball to home plate. There's all things that we pitchers struggle with, but keeping your head still, man, that's huge.
Reason most pitchers' heads move is they try to overthrow the baseball.
Posada takes a strike. He was caught looking his first time in the third.
Experience, age, not trying to overthrow the baseball can get your head pretty still.
Broke his bat. A blooper in the right. There's the first New York hit.
Posada is telling the umpire to check that baseball. Watch Granderson to check the baseball and have it thrown out of play.
More than likely, he caught it on the place where the pine tar is on the bat and broke it. He's going to give it back. Good for the pitcher.
Well, he threw it where he wanted to. Jammed Jorge Posada here, but Ian Kinsler was playing him to pull, playing him up the middle. And once he did that, you see where his positioning was. Could not run down that little soft liner.
First hit, second base runner. They both come with 2 outs. Teixeira walked in the fourth with 2 out. Mayrod couldn't deliver, and then Posada with the 2-out single here.
When you watch him, he coils, he arches his back, everything stays good. He's got great arm. This is a curveball that he's throwing. Everything stays on plane. You look at where he's seeing the ball, everything looks familiar, looks great. He repeats it, Ron, and that's why he's got such mastery of the strike zone.
Moreland playing behind Posada at first base.
First base coach Mick Kelleher fields cleanly and makes a friend with the toss into the front row.
Now, the opposite of that, Fernando Valenzuela. People are going to say, well, you know, he didn't keep his head still. He looked up to the sky. But he had a way of doing it, and he was masterful in his own way, and it became unique, and he learned how to pitch that way.
Granderson's in an 0-2 hole.
Granderson relegated to not starting against left-handers for some of this season. Worked on his stroke and had probably the biggest hit against the left-hander Liriano in the first game in Minnesota.
Cliff Lee has great variance in his pitches. What I mean by that, a curveball that slows everything down about 77 miles an hour. You got a two-seamer at 87. You got a cutter at 80 in the mid-80s, and a fastball that can go plus 90s. He's got the perfect stair step to really messing with a hitter's head.
Has hit well off Lee. 12 hits against him, has a home run. 3 for 10 in the postseason against lefties with a couple RBI.
He struck out his first time. And he struck out again to end the 5th. TBS is presented by Capital One Venture Card. Well, 5 innings in the books there in the Bronx. And all the runs coming in the first inning on a 2-run homer by Josh Hamilton. Andy Pettit's only mistake of the night. He's only allowed 1 hit since the first. And he faces the top of the Texas order here in the 6th. Elvis Andrews is 0 for 2. Tap back to Pettit, rounded to Cano. Looks like the first inning again. Makes the play. Let's go down to the field. Craig Sager for a Bank of America game break.
Over in the National League Championship Series, Cody Ross of San Francisco has provided power and production for the Giants. He has hit 3 home runs in the first 2 games against the Philadelphia Phillies. He connected for 2 home runs off Roy Halladay in Game 1, and last night he hit his 3rd of the series off of Roy Oswalt. Tomorrow on Fox, Cole Hamels will face Matt Cain. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. We look forward to watching Game 3 of that series on Fox with Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. As Michael Young is 3 for 3. This is what happened in the first inning after Michael Young's first single.
Only mistake really Andy Pettit's made all evening, that little slider that hung in the middle of the plate. Didn't hit it great, kind of reached out and flicked it over the right field wall.
Hamilton grounded out his 2nd time. He bats right now in the 6th.
Andy Pettit in this season, regular season, only gave up a couple home runs, both to Carlos Pena, to left-handed hitters.
One ball, 1 strike to Hamilton, who's 2 out of 7 in the series. Both of them home runs.
Andy would like nothing better than a ground ball double play. He's already at 91 pitches, Ron. And you wonder how long Joe's going to let him extend his pitcher. Typically, he won't throw over 110 pitches.
He's trying to get that ground ball with that fastball away, hoping that Hamilton tries to pull the baseball.
Hamilton waved at that, and the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andy Pettit came into this game knowing full well and very comfortable with the fact that he was, quote, the other guy, with Cliff Lee getting the spotlight. Just like to have that 1 pitch back to Hamilton in the first.
Well, he might have spent a career in the postseason beating the other guy, but he's usually the best guy.
Looking for postseason win number 20. He's already the all-time leader with 19. Payoff pitch to Hamilton. Won't be made. Michael Young took 1 giant step and was back safely. Second name looks vaguely familiar. Hamilton launches to right. Swisher has just enough room. 2 down. You could feel the crowd here hold its collective breath.
But you could tell by the sound up here in the booth that that was right off the end of the bat. That shows you how thick his power is. Hits it off the end of the bat. Almost hits it out of here. Nice play by Nick Swisher.
Yeah, that you could tell when he dropped his head, right when he swung it. But I've seen guys drop their head and try to explain themselves when they got back in the dugout after a home run.
So now 2 down with Michael Young still at first for Vlad Guerrero. Who is now 6 for 30 in this postseason and 1 for 11 in this series.
Well, Andy knows he's got about 2 or 3 pitches to get him to try and chase him. No need to really throw him a strike until you have to. Glad he didn't think that was one of them.
You see Hamilton still hot, but he missed that pitch.
Cut, it's 1 and 2. He led their team with 115 runs batted in. He's the 4th best total in the American League. And one of the toughest guys in the American League to strike out. But he has gone down swinging tonight.
Despite the great move by Pettit, sometimes you think this would be a good time to run. You would think that Andy's got to bounce a changeup or breaking ball to Guerrero.
So we await pitch number 100 from the veteran left-hander Andy Pettit. He hits the century mark with his 5th strikeout. League Championship Series. The series tied at a game apiece. The Rangers leading Game 3 2-0 as Brett Gardner leads it off for the Yankees. Their number 9 hitter.
I know all the innings are big, but I think this is a big inning, Ron. With if you can find a way to get Brett Gardner on the base, you get to the top of the lineup, you can do a whole bunch of different things. Big at bat here.
As he said the other day, I'm not paid to get base hits. I'm paid to get on base, and he will do whatever it takes to get there. We saw that obviously in Game 1 of this series, and he singled up the middle to lead off the 6th.
Well, this is exactly what the Yankees and the crowd needed. They erupted when he got this hit right up the middle. He doesn't pull off the ball, just stays right up the middle, gets a much-needed base hit. Now, you're Cliff Lee. This is only the 4th time in two games that the Yankees have got the leadoff runner on. Now you've got your fastest runner. See what the Yankees try to do to create some havoc.
Their previous 2 base runners in this game came with 2 outs in the inning. He retired Rodriguez in the 4th to end that one and struck out Granderson in the 5th. But now Gardner with good wheels at first for Derek Jeter. Gardner swiped 47 bags in the regular season. The rest of the team had a total of 56.
It's really a courtesy throw by Lee. He doesn't have the same kind of move that Andy Pettit does, but he's very quick to the plate.
Jeter came into this game hitting .432 career against Lee. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
You look at the outfield positioning. They shade him over to right field. There's going to be a lot of running going on if they can get it between the center fielder and the left fielder. But obviously Cliff Lee pitches to his defensive alignment.
Left center fielder, right, John, and also down the left field line. Three straight pitches from Lee up in the strike zone.
Well, it's the first time he's had to worry about somebody on first base. You know, in this situation, if you can condense it, even though, you know, you've got to find a way to get outs. Even if Gardner gets to second, you can't create a big inning and let that guy on first affect the way you pitch to a great Derek Jeter. You've got to keep making those pitches and somehow block out what Gardner's trying to do at first.
There goes Gardner. The throw late. Gardner unable to go anywhere else as that ball bounced away, but he's in scoring position. Yankees haven't had anybody there all night.
Can you steal a base when everyone in the ballpark knows you're trying to steal one? Great jump from Gardner. Molina's ball travels up the line. Andrews was not able to keep it in, but he got about a 4 or 5 step lead.
And what Derek did there is took the second strike. He could have swung at it. It was a very unselfish play, a pitch probably he would like to have back, but he gave up of himself to get the runner at second.
And Lee gets him swinging for the second time tonight. One down. We are at Yankee Stadium, Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. And the Texas Rangers with Cliff Lee on the mound, trying to protect a 2-0 lead. Josh Hamilton hit a 2-run homer in the first. The Yankees collecting their second hit of the night here in the sixth. The single by Brett Gardner, who stole second. The Yankees won for their last 18 with runners in scoring position. Here's Swisher, who's 0 for 2.
Swisher telling the home plate umpire Jim Reynolds that ball is down. Tracks like that pitch. No one throws more balls to those corners of our pitch tracks than Cliff Lee.
A ball and a strike. Lee has struck out 10. One off his career postseason high. You've got Swisher in the fourth. Missions with a 1-1. See Lee threw behind Brett Gardner to Ian Kinsler, hoping maybe he would wander off. A fresh coating of rosin on that hat, and Lee ready to go. And 2.
Brett Gardner inching ever so closely to a bigger lead, trying to time the timing of a pitcher, knowing that Ian Kinsler's jockeying back there a little bit.
Just to make sure that Gardner doesn't have any ideas of stealing third base also.
Always felt after a pitcher did that, this would be the best time to put on an actual pickoff play.
They think they're in the free, in the clear.
Fouled off down the right side. Talked about June 29th when Cliff Lee made a start here at Yankee Stadium as a member of the Seattle Mariners. And what did Nick Swisher do? Took him out twice. And it's Swisher who waits on a 2-2 in a 2-0 game, representing the tying run. Up the middle, but Kinsler had him played right there. 2 down as Gardner moves to third. Now it's up to Mark Teixeira. Teixeira yet to put the ball in play. Struck out in the first, walked in the fourth.
Mark really likes to sit back as the right-hander, sit back on that leg and almost swing up at the ball. Likes to launch it, and curveballs get given him a little bit of problem, but so does change of speed because he's trying to lift the ball and put it in play in the air, preferably.
More of a high ball hitter from that right side.
Right.
He's looking for his first hit of this series. He's 0 for 9. 4 for 22 in the postseason. Did have that home run in the Minnesota series in Game 1, which was key.
What's even more key is what the Yankees have done to that pitch count. 96 already for Cliff Lee.
Too short. Andrews bobbles, but gets him. The Yankees get a runner to third, but that's as far as Gardner got. We move to the 7th. Mailbag presented by BlackBerry. Tonight's question comes from Edgar on Facebook. How did you feel coming out to pitch Game 1 of the '96 World Series against Andy Pettitte? See, I asked you this question earlier. You disregarded it. You have to answer Edgar.
Oh, and I will. I felt good. We had 2 days extra rest because of the weather here. We were able to actually get the win, though I felt better afterwards. But warming up in the bullpen, the heckling I took was the most professional heckling I've ever had taken in my life. It made me laugh a few times.
Nelson Cruz leads it off in the 7th.
When they started getting out my accordion playing stuff, I knew they knew everything.
You knew they had gone deep into the bio.
Yeah.
They were on page 4.
Somehow I see the mailbag developing into an accordion question one of these nights. Top half of the 7th inning, and Andy Pettitte and the Yankees down 2-0 to the Rangers. That'll be easy for Swisher and Wright.
Well, Andy having a similar start to the one he had in Minnesota, where he went 7 innings, gave up a couple of runs. Can't really ask too much of a pitcher who spent the better part of the second half of the season trying to get healthy.
I mean, Rod, Michael Young's had 3 hits off of him, and Josh Hamilton took him deep in the first inning. Nobody else has done anything. Here's Ian Kinsler, who's 0 for 2. And quickly 2 up and 2 down. Happy to have home plate umpire Jim Reynolds tonight wearing the microphone. Let's eavesdrop.
How are you, brother? Here, I'm going to let you film. Look! Hey! It came back, Georgie. Hi, Curtis. How are you?
First pitch to Jeff Francoeur bounces away 1-0. You like talking to umpires when you played?
Yeah, when I came to the plate, it was a great time to either make up for complaining about some strikes or losing my cool.
Yeah, we're all square, aren't we? We're good, aren't we? Yeah. Francoeur just inside the line. Rodriguez can't get it. Francoeur beat it by a half a step. Third time tonight he's hit the ball to Rodriguez. This time he reaches.
Well, this is the problem when you're playing that deep. If the ball's not hit sharply, it's just such a long throw from over there to get it there in time. A nice hustle by Francoeur. Just getting that bag before the ball goes in the glove of Teixeira.
A quick meeting on the mound has broken up. And Pettit will face Benji Molina. This Francoeur's second hit of the postseason. Molina's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout.
And he's got to be careful here with Molina with Francoeur on first. Dead red fastball hitter on first pitch is Molina.
Andy Pettit has thrown 107 pitches, 66 for strikes. Breaking pitch misses. 1-0. A picture of cool on that Texas bench, Cliff Lee. They shut out the Yankees through 6.
Well, we saw both pitchers before the game today, and if you didn't know that they were starting, you wouldn't be able to tell by their demeanor. It was very loose.
Rodriguez with the dive. And what a pick by Teixeira at first. Rodriguez couldn't get Francoeur, but he threw out Molina. It's time to stretch in New York. And also here at Yankee Stadium, time to honor America.
Of the servicemen and women stationed around the globe, she will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Alex Rodriguez, Robinson Cano, Marcus Timms to face Cliff Lee here in the bottom half of the seventh inning. Together, they're 0 for 6. Lee has only allowed 2 hits. Trying to protect the 2-0 lead here in Game 3 of the ALCS. Rodriguez took a called third in the second. Flied out to left in the fourth. Only once tonight has the leadoff hitter reached against Cliff Lee, and that came in the 6th. Brett Gardner, who eventually made his way to third, but the Yankees couldn't bring him home.
Just can't say enough of the back and forth pitching. What I mean by that is cutter, slider in, two-seamer away. Looks like the same pitch, but it's doing opposite things. That's why you're seeing hitters hit it off the end of the bat and just swing and misses it sometimes.
Pitch number 100. Right back where it came from, but he broke his bat. And Kinsler threw him out. Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, AJ, that hat that Cliff Lee has keeps getting more rosin on it. I asked him yesterday how many hats he goes through a year. He goes, this year I've had 2. That's one because I got traded. I had to switch caps. As opposed to Elvis Andrews over at shortstop, who hasn't cut his hair all year. He keeps Hoggy Price, the equipment manager, very busy because every month he has to go to a bigger size.
All right, thank you, Segs. Here's Robinson Cano. Mentioned that Cliff Lee has struck out 10. And he's the first pitcher in history with 3 games of 10 strikeouts plus in one postseason. John, take me, give me a feel for this now. When you're pitching as well as Cliff Lee has, that time in between innings, your approach going on, the pitch count getting up there at 101, what are you thinking?
Well, I thought it was interesting, man. God bless America. He was on the mound the whole time. He's just so anxious to get out there and throw that at this point, when you don't even, I know you recognize it as a pitcher, how many pitches you have, but you're just approaching it. Every inning at this point on is the 9th inning. And if he can get 2 more for the Rangers, that would be outstanding because he's already at 102 pitches.
Well, Ron Washington said in his last start against Tampa, he gave him a look like, I've got this one, Skipper. He'd like to have that look again.
He's ahead of Cano, 0-2. And he wouldn't chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cano, who came in 5 for 9 in this series, has lined out and grounded out. He's homered in each of the first 2 games.
Right there, he went with a purpose pitch, fastball up. See if he throws a curveball, changes eye level a little bit more.
We'll talk about a pitcher putting away hitters. The Yankees tonight 0 for 13 with 2 strikes against Cliff Lee.
To first. Moreland takes it himself. 2 down. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on TBS and Fox. Already in the LCS, we've seen a great pitching matchup in Philadelphia between Doc Halladay and Tim Lincecum. And, of course, a lot of hype going into that one. And this one between Lee and Pettit has been top drawer. Marcus Timms has struck out twice.
At times, John, watching Cliff Lee pitch, it's almost like he has the ball on a string. He can put it anywhere he wants to.
There have been 2 putouts by the Texas outfield tonight. Derek Jeter in the first, A-Rod in the fourth. The 1-2. Look at that breaking pitch, and it missed. Count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-run lead for Texas here in the 7th. There is strikeout number 11. At least 1 in every inning of Game 3. King James. As we move to the 8th, Cliff Lee with 11 strikeouts, matching his postseason high. 1 walk. Andy Pettit's night is through. He pitched 7. Cliff Lee walked more than Andy Pettit did tonight. Just gave up that 2-run homer in the first inning to Josh Hamilton. That has been all the scoring. Kerry Wood high and away to Mitch Moreland.
Well, if you're the Yankees, and not only great job by Andy Pettit, but you feel like if you can keep this game close, and Cliff Lee can't go out in the 9th inning, to test the patience and nervousness of their young closer, Felice.
Moreland had a broken bat liner to second his first time and to right his second time. And this pop-up will be handled by A-Rod. What's big, orange, and requires lots of hot air. The Conan Blimp, tonight's aerial coverage, is made possible by AT&T, and Conan premieres November 8th, right here on TBS. Just a sparkling night here in the Bronx. This is definitely October baseball, with a chill in the air and a 2-0 Texas lead in an extremely well-pitched game, in which Kerry Wood has come on in relief of Andy Pettit here in the 8th.
It's kind of a big at bat here for Kerry Wood, so you try to keep the speed off the bases. It's pretty assured if he gets on, he'll try and steal.
The running game was non-existent while Pettit was in the game. It certainly will not be that way if Wood allows Andrews on base.
Keep in mind it was Kerry Wood who picked off Ian Kinsler late in the game in game 1. He was behind. 2 balls and a strike. Joe Girardi's Yankees handcuffed tonight by Cliff Lee, but it's still only a 2-0 game.
He's been asked the question 1,000 times, Joe Girardi. These next 2 innings are going to determine what tomorrow's starter brings for the New York Yankees. I'm afraid that we'll be answering that question a lot after this game.
Full count to the Rangers leadoff hitter, Elvis Andrews, who's over 3 tonight.
Got a feel for that guy because he wants to get out there and show that he can not only quiet the Rangers' bats but critics.
The 3-2 pitch popped up middle of the infield. Who wants it? So Kerry Wood retires the first 2 on a couple of pop-ups, and here is Michael Young. He had 3 hits off Pettit.
You know, talking about A.J. Burnett, who's going to slated to pitch tomorrow's game. It's not that CC Sabathia can't pitch on 3 days rest. He's proven he can do that. But Philip Hughes has never pitched on 3 days rest, and you'd be asking Andy Pettit to pitch on 3 days rest. So it's not the big man that's the problem. It's the other 2 starters you've used.
Of course, it's been a down year for A.J. Burnett. Last 22 starts, 4-13, an ERA of about 6.5.
What's good about the postseason, though, one good postseason start can erase the entire year.
That's exactly right.
Joe Girardi has spent the last 24 to 48 hours answering that question hourly about what he'll do about Game 4. He said, look, if I start talking about Game 4 before I start talking about Game 3, we're in trouble.
You don't see that happen to many big league hitters, but that's how good Kerry Wood's breaking ball can be at times.
what may worry? Cliff Lee could be moments away from going back for the 8th inning. 2 out in the top half for the Rangers. And Texas goes quietly in the 8th. Names in sports have to say about today's hot topics, like Cal Ripken's take on who he thinks is the best pitcher in this postseason. And Chris Collinsworth and Phil Simms talk about the problems with agents and college athletes. Check out Behind the Mic, presented by Allstate exclusively on SI.com. Bottom half of the 8th inning in a 2-0 game. Cliff Lee to Jorge Posada, who had the first New York hit. That came in the 6th. Lee set down the first 11 Yankees he faced, striking out 7 of them. He walked Teixeira in the 4th, gave up the hit to Posada in the 5th, and a single to Brett Gardner in the 6th. And quickly ahead 0-2. And this was the hit in the 5th. Didn't get much of it, but got enough.
Well, just a little cutter inside out swing from Jorge to get himself a single.
You know, when Cliff Lee was struggling in August, and he had a bad back at one point and needed a trigger point injection to ease the pain in his back, Ron Washington said, look, I know he's had a rough August, but if he drops a couple of wins for us in September, all will be forgot. He went 2-1 in September, 2-0 in the ALDS. And as Posada fouls that one off, it's a 1-2 count. virtually untouchable in beating the Rays twice in the first round.
Well, Lee has talked about that. You know, it's difficult being traded to contenders, and you're kind of like the hired gun, and the expectation level for you to win and pitch someone deep into the postseason extremely high for Lee. But he has said no one has greater expectations of themselves than me.
Posada waits on a 1-2. And the home folks, ooh and ah at that, but it missed.
Well, that curveball has been coming around the plate all game long. Jim Reynolds has not given it to Lee.
Posada headed for the dugout before Jim Reynolds made the call. One down.
Great two-seam fastball. It looks like it's going to be inside. You can see him trying to open up to try and get to it, thinking it's going to be a ball, and it comes back over the plate. He knows it right away.
A new career postseason high in strikeouts for Cliff Lee. That's a dozen. Well, here's Granderson, who struck out twice.
No one in the game today controls the speed of the bat of the opposition like Cliff Lee. He'll get you thinking about slow, and slower, and then throw one right down the middle and catch you looking.
Lee was referred to as a warrior and was asked about that, and he said, you know, a warrior is somebody like a gladiator, a fighter. That's not me. I'm a professional athlete. I'm a pitcher. Tonight he's part surgeon against the Yankees. The two Darrens are up for Texas. Andrews. Two down.
Well, we talked about in the open, this guy's your starter. He's your middleman. He's now going through the setup role. And the question is going to be for Ron Washington, does he become your closer? A lot of pitches, but man, it's awfully tempting to let him go out there. If he can get this third out right here, we'll see.
His 119th pitch was as free and easy as number 1.
Game 1 of the World Series last year, he threw 122 in this ballpark. His regular season high is 124.
Well, the reason I don't like pitch counts is because they're not indicative of the type of game. He didn't have, there's all kinds of stress pitches in a postseason, but he didn't have a ton of situations where there were runners that jammed up the bases, and he had to make all kinds of tough pitches. It's been relatively stress-free, so that number could be a little bit less than what it actually is. If you think 2-0 is a stress-free game in the postseason, but for Cliff Lee, he's showing, hey, no big thing.
Gardner had the second New York hit. He singled sharply up the middle his last time. Stole a base, but was stranded at third in what was the best New York scoring opportunity of the night. And there is strikeout number 13. We're going to the ninth in New York.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
This has been something to see tonight at Yankee Stadium. We move to the ninth. Andy Pettitte was great. Made one mistake to the guy at the plate right now, Josh Hamilton, a 2-run homer in the first. And so far, that's been enough for the Rangers' Cliff Lee. Boone Logan, the new pitcher, the third of the night for the Yankees.
You would think that Logan, this would be his only hitter.
He falls behind 3-0, and he missed it. This was it. You know, Josh Hamilton just reaching out and put it in the seats and right.
But when you have a hot pitcher and you give him a couple of runs early, no better gift than that, right, John?
He becomes en fuego. Even hotter.
3 balls, 1 strike. Cliff Lee with 13 strikeouts. So Boone Logan trying to come all the way back. He fell behind 3-0. Count full now to the leadoff hitter in the ninth. And Josh Hamilton, base hit to left. In fact, that ball skips past Brett Gardner to the wall. And Hamilton's got a stand-up double. Boy, did that ball scoop to the wall.
Well, nice hitting by Hamilton, going with the pitch away from Logan. Another 2-strike hit for the Texas Rangers. And on these nights when you first get that chill, get that dewy kind of atmosphere on the ground and skip past Gardner.
So Boone Logan brought on to face the left-hand hitter. Gives up a leadoff double as the Rangers look to add to a 2-0 lead. Rush is on. Don't miss the series premiere of Glory Days, November 16th at 10, 9 Central, only on TBS. Boone Logan faced one hitter, Josh Hamilton, who doubled to the wall and left. And here is David Robertson. Like Logan, he appeared in Game 2. The game in Texas in which the Rangers evened the series at a game apiece.
The Yankees bullpen has been pretty outstanding this entire postseason.
Joe Girardi and the Yankees trying to hold him right there. For Cliff Lee and the Rangers looking for a little more cushion. And you hear that all the time, John and Ron, about, you could really use some insurance. When you're sitting on the bench and you got a 2-0 lead right now, you're ready to go out for the ninth. How bad are you wishing, hoping, praying. Give me a little more.
Let me tell you, the perfect scenario is to have a nip and tuck game that you're winning and it keeps that concentration level. And then the ninth, pour it on. Just unleash. Because then at that point you get a little breathing room, because the game in itself, I know he's made it look real easy in a 2-0 game, but how about that kid in the bullpen? He's saying, I don't care if we get a save. 3 more runs.
Yeah. Much like Dennis Eckersley said earlier tonight on the pregame show. Guerrero takes a strike, 0-1.
Beck said, I don't need a save. Give me the ring.
At the end of the 8th inning.
Already read his lips. I feel good.
And Ron Washington saying, those are the greatest words I've ever heard. Guerrero's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
The only problem you have as a manager here is that you're right, John. Score a lot of runs, get a cushion. But if your starting pitcher after 120 plus pitches is sitting on the bench for 20 to 25 minutes, then you start to maybe think about that twice.
Well, it's a tough spot for a pitcher to be in. He's always going to say, I feel good.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that likes to finish what he starts.
There's a young Neftali Feliz, who saved 40 games. 3rd highest total in the American League. Did get some work in game 2. Was not a save situation, and finished up in the Rangers' victory.
You know how great Mariano has been. It took him till the age of 28. Almost 28 to get his first save. And here we're talking about a very young rookie having to possibly come into this scenario, this stadium, and try to knock something down for his team.
That ball's just foul.
Which has never had a postseason save.
Well, Dancing with the Stars is in Angel Hernandez's future. Nice job.
Guerrero hit that ball like a bullet, but he's still behind 0-2. Hamilton with a walking lead off of second. He doubled to start the 9th. It's a key stop by Posada, keeping that ball in front. Keep that runner at second.
And the difference between not swinging there, he needs to elevate that ball just about 3 inches, make it look more like the fastball he just fouled off to get Vladdy to go swing at. What we already know is an aggressive swinger, but that was too low to get him to try and chase.
Something on the ground to the right side would get Hamilton to third, where a fly ball would get him home. That's a base hit into left. Hamilton had to hold up, so they'll be at first and third. Again, the Rangers getting it done with 2 strikes.
Well, Vladdy back at it again, hitting one off his shoe tops. Hitting the hole between A-Rod and Jeter.
Julio Borbon, where's number 29? Well, pinch run now for Vlad Guerrero, who had his first hit of the night and just his second of the series.
This is going to be a tough situation for the Yankees. They're going to play the infield in, which leaves room for a stolen base as well, because it's tough for one of those guys at times to get back to the bag when you're so far in. So we'll see how Texas and Ron Washington plays it.
Bourbon stole 15 in the regular season, and one stole 4 in a game against the Red Sox. The old American Legion play doesn't work. Cruz is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Batting in a big spot here. Another throw over. Bourbon is back. Cruz has 3 runs batted in the postseason, all on solo homers. Runner going. That ball's hit into left. That'll score a run as Bourbon is safe at third. And the Rangers lead it 3-0.
Start of the big inning here. Nice hitting by Cruz, who's been their hottest hitter all postseason long. And Bourbon, great speed, made that play look easy going from first to third. The Rangers this season went first to third on a single, better than any team in the major leagues.
Sending a few folks home. The Yankee faithful. They start out.
So the base hit again puts runners at first and third. Cruz has good speed at first. Kinsler's 0 for 3. David Murphy has moved into the on-deck circle for Ron Washington's Rangers. He homered and doubled the other day. Robertson taking a long time. Runner going, and yeah, you can't advance. First base was occupied, but Cruz is down at second. And Kinsler goes down swinging.
It's another example. Sometimes the people that know the least about the rules are sometimes the players themselves.
Now it's just a natural reaction to try and take off. You never know. He might draw a throw and throw it in the right field. Rangers are always on go, looking for any reason to take another base, and they've done it about as well as you can the last couple games. Anytime a ball has went in the dirt, they are gone.
We're trying to push the envelope here and really blow open this game with hitting David Murphy for Francoeur. The one thing you missed, though, is Francoeur's great defense in a close game.
Murphy will be intentionally walked to load him up. So what this will do is load the bases for Benji Molina, who would be an excellent double play prospect, and try to get the Yankees out of the inning with a 3-run deficit. Playing in the top half of the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. In a pivotal Game 3 in a series that's tied at a game apiece, Cliff Lee has been absolutely lights out tonight. He is shutting out the Yankees, who have added to their 2-0 lead with an insurance run here in the 9th. And Texas trying to blow it open. Bases loaded, 1 out. David Robertson to face Benji Molina. Molina's 0 for 3. Last time up, hit a ball down the third baseline that Rodriguez stopped with a dive and then threw him out. And this one into left field. That scores 1, and it's 4-0. Benji Molina's 4th run batted in of this postseason, 2nd of the series.
Well, what can you do if you're the Yankees and Dave Robertson? You need to get a ground ball. He got a ground ball that just found a hole.
And now here's Mitch Moreland. Little claw from Molina to the Ranger bench. That ball is hit sharply. It's a fair ball. That'll score 1. It'll score 2. And the Rangers have broken it open here in the 9th.
Moreland in there tonight against the left-hander Pettit because he's been taking some great at-bats right on the line down the right field line.
And if that first run had a few folks heading for the exits, that shot is about to clear the place. 6-0. Rangers over the Yankees. Here's Elvis Andrus.
You'd like your guy to finish the game, but now's a perfect time to get your young guy back in the game, the closer, and
shut Lee down.
Shut him down. Well, we haven't seen any action yet.
The lead is 6. And the wait between innings lengthy for Cliff Lee.
Well, with the Rangers winning their first playoff game at home, they're starting to break some of those old numbers. In their first 12 postseason games against the Yankees, they were outscored 16-0. No longer.
They snapped a 10-game losing streak against the Yankees in the postseason the other day and won that first postseason game at home. And talking to Ron Washington about that today and saying, did that feel like a weight was lifted? He said, we're not paying any attention to what used to happen. We're blazing our own trails now. And they lead this game 6-0 in the 9th. Andrus is 0 for 4.
From the 7th inning on, outscored 16-0. And now putting a 4 spot on in the 9th. They're also one bad relief inning away from maybe having 3 wins in this series.
Yeah, back to what Brian Cashman, the GM, had said through 2 games. He said they've outplayed us for 16 out of 18 innings. We're fortunate to be 1-1. A high chopper that will not stay fair. Josh Hamilton started the inning. with a line drive to left center that skipped past Brett Gardner. Ball was hit well for a double. Then David Robertson came on and has given up 4 hits, walked the batter, struck out 1. 4 runs are across here in the 9th. So what do you guys expect to happen now with tomorrow's start? Because Joe Girardi has maintained all week, every time he's answered, our rotation is as we said it. Do you pitch A.J. Burnett in Game 4 tomorrow?
Well, there's going to be a lot of pressure put on Joe based on what happened with A.J. Burnett.
Runner going fouled off. Go ahead.
And I think if conventionally you need to turn the tables back, you go with CC Sabathia. I mean, 3 days rest. He's got a 1.01 ERA. The statistics favor you. And, you know, the unknown is to Ron's point. You know, does it set back those other guys to a point where it gives you an adverse chance after CC? But what New Yorkers are going to want is they want CC Sabathia 2 more times.
Payoff pitch with the runner going. That ball is hit to right. Nick Swisher on his horse and won't get there. That ball's off the wall. Molina scores. Runners at second and third. And it's 7-0.
Cutter that stays over the middle of the plate, and when you've got that scenario, you can square it up and hit it to the right side, and he did it just over the stretch of Swisher.
The assault continues by the Rangers. We'll be back. Eastern and Pacific on TNT. If you're just joining us, it's Game 3 of the ALCS. Ernie Johnson, Ron Darling, and the man who brought Bethpage Black to its knees yesterday, John Smoltz.
Hey.
Come on, you can tell me.
Well, I mean, I did fine until 17. It was even par, and I double bogeyed 17. But I loved it. I loved every beautiful day.
It's quite a track, isn't it?
It is.
Cool. You know, to get back to the CC Sabathia question, there's every reason as an organization not to pitch him. You're going to need 4 pitchers if you're going to proceed into the World Series, 4 starters. You don't want to have Hughes on short rest. He's never done it. You don't want to have Andy Pettit pitch on short rest. He was injured most of the second half. But, you know, can't afford to go 3-1 either. Down in the series.
Well, Sergio Mitre is the 3rd Yankee pitcher of the 9th inning. An inning began with a 2-0 Texas lead. Now it's 7-0. And that pitch gets away, and Mitre can't handle the throw, and now it's 8-0 Texas.
Well, he is, Ron, he's out, but he would have been out. Just couldn't hold the ball.
A lot of times you take your eye off the ball anticipating the tag. Mitre is pretty much of a block of a big right-hander.
Michael Young is 3 out of 4. Has scored a run. And he's the 9th Texas hitter of the 9th. Texas is 12 out of 29 in this series with runners in scoring position. The Yankees 4 for 26.
John, you and I both agree this is a good sign. We talked about Lee being on the bench for an extended period of time. Get the young man out there on this mound, even if it's a big lead.
To first for the second out. And the expected Alcs cheer.
Yeah, and if he comes in, have somebody ready behind him, just so you don't expand your pitch count in a game that you have well at hand.
Handshakes all around and hugs for Cliff Lee, so his night is through.
And I know why he wanted to finish, because there's a contract due to him if you pitch a shutout against the Yankees. Here, remember I talked about a 3-year contract? That's what I do.
It's automatic?
Well, postseason it's 6 years.
Oh, okay, very nice.
Regular season 3 years, so he'll just
let him know that was on the line.
Josh Hamilton lofts a fly ball to left. And a long, long top of the 9th leaves the Yankees behind 8-0. Coverage on TBS has been presented by Capital One Venture Card. Cliff Lee's night is done. He struck out 13 tonight, which was 2 off of the most strikeouts against a Yankee team in the postseason in a 9-inning game. Sandy Koufax has a record of 15. That was in the 1963 World Series Game 1. Lee struck out 13 in 8 innings of work. We saw David Murphy, the new left fielder, as Nelson Cruz moves to right. And Neftali Feliz on to close this out with an 8-0 lead.
Just a fantastic rookie season for the Rangers.
So the value in this round, to get back to the point you were making too about getting him out here in this stadium, on this mound, in this series.
Yeah, he's pitched here before, but to pitch in Yankee Stadium in the postseason is a whole different matter. I think just the the comfortability factor, just being out there, making some pitches, facing these fine Yankee hitters, it will put him in a better spot when there's pressure on the line. That familiarity will be better for him.
Certainly will not be the noise level tonight that he'd get in a pressure-packed situation, but he's on here in the 9th. He walked a couple when he pitched the 9th in Game 2 in Texas. What was a 7-2 Texas win, but it got interesting there in the 9th.
This is a mentally challenging situation for the young kid, only because it's 8-0, and you want to get the quickest results you possibly can to do, to your point, Ron, to get out there, get familiar with the mound, but don't spend 35 pitches trying to do it.
But what I've seen from him in the postseason is a little bit of nerves, but there's been some walks, and those are the things that he won't be able to do when you're in a tight game.
And they were up, and so far he's come in here and everything's been down. You notice he's got kind of a relaxed motion with a live arm, and sometimes when you do that and you got a little bit of adrenaline kicking in you, the tendency is to rise up with the fastball.
Well, the Texas Rangers are some bunch of road warriors. Won all 3 games in the first series at Tampa Bay on the road. Lost the 2 at home. And here, their first road game of this series, they're beating the Yankees 8-0 in the 9th. And against the Yankees in the postseason, remember, they won the first game between the two back in 1996 in New York. And that was their only win up until Sunday against New York. Or I should say Saturday. Jeter staying in there in the 3-2 count.
Not as nervous today.
That's a much more relaxed Nolan Ryan. Feliz punches out Jeter. Stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Matt Weiner and Cal Ripken, Dennis Eckersley, and David Wells. There's their perch of the bleachers. We're going to have highlights of tonight's game and all the post-game chatter. So stick around. Hello, Matt. How are you? How's the moss there, Eck? Looking good? Not a babe. 0-1 to Swisher. 14 Yankees have gone down swinging.
Well, The good news is for the Yankees, everything is going to look a lot easier to hit tomorrow. No disrespect to Tommy Hunter, but that's how nasty Cliff Lee was. Puts your hitters in such a defensive funk that they're going to feel a little bit better just by the fact that Cliff Lee is not pitching tomorrow.
Plus, the hitters like Swisher and Teixeira. Much more pop from the left-hand side.
Swisher's 0 for 3 tonight, now 4 for 39 against Texas this season with 16 strikeouts. That will be the second out of the ninth. We've talked a lot about the fact that A.J. Burnett is scheduled to be the Game 4 starter for the New York Yankees. On the other side, it's Tommy Hunter for the Texas Rangers. Of that, there is no dispute.
Tommy had a really nice year after he started off on the disabled list. Came out of the gates and pitched really well for Texas.
Finished up the year 13-4, best winning percentage in the American League. It's 1-1 to Teixeira. You just run out, you know, you start reaching for the thesaurus after the superlatives have run out on Cliff Lee.
I wasn't as impressed once he walked the guy, to be honest with you.
You're a very tough judge.
Well,
you were over him at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk, a couple of hits.
Part of me would have liked to have seen him pitch that ninth inning if they hadn't scored those 6 runs.
One thing you can see when you look at the scoreboard is an 8-0 count. One thing you will not see when you look at that Yankee dugout is panic.
Not at all.
And that is Game 3 of the ALCS. The Rangers, with a late rally, put 8 runs on the board, and Cliff Lee simply masterful. He worked the entire night with a 2-0 lead, handed the ball to Feliz in the 9th. And it's 2-1, the Rangers over the Yankees, with Game 4 tomorrow night.
Well, 15 punch-outs. There's a guy who knows a little bit about punching out hitters. 15 punch-outs for the Rangers tonight. 13 from Cliff Lee, as they take a 2-1 lead, and the start by A.J. Burnett tomorrow. Extreme importance.
Well, Texas has guaranteed themselves at least a trip back home, and now they still want to continue as they hand the ball off to Tommy Hunter to try and make it difficult for New York.
8 dramatic innings tonight, and then a 9th inning that put this one away for the Rangers as they scored 6 times. And Cliff Lee with a 2-hitter through 8 with 13 strikeouts. Looks like Craig Sager has himself a guest. Craig?
Well, Cliff, you pitched all night with that 2-run lead you got in the first. What was so effective that made it look so easy?
Just throwing strikes. You know, the cutter was a really good pitch for me today. working ahead in the count and staying out of the heart of the plate. I mean, that's the name of the game as far as pitching goes, and was able to do that tonight.
A broken bat blooper by Jorge Posada, a seeing eye grounder by Brett Gardner, and then 2 fly balls, the only ones that left the infield. 13 strikeouts. Have you ever been that dominating?
I don't know. It was a pretty good game, but I'm not satisfied with that. We still got some work to do here, and it was a lot of fun to come into New York and get this first one. Hopefully, we can come out here tomorrow and pick up where we left off.
Up in the booth, they were talking about a 2-0 lead going to the ninth. You'd like to have an insurance run so you could go out there, but then they put 6 on the board. How was the decision made for you not to close it out?
Well, I was going out there, and then the inning lasted quite a while, and we extended our lead pretty good. So they decided to bring Neffy in right there, and he did the job. 1, 2, 3, got out of the ninth, and kept it right where we were at.
You always look so calm. Your demeanor's always like you're not under any stress or pressure. But what was it like matching zeros with Andy Pettit after that first?
It was a lot of fun. Obviously, us getting Josh hitting that home run in the first, giving us a nice lead there was huge. Made it easier just to go right at guys. When you get a 2-run lead like that early, you just try to get the first guy out. And more times than not, I did that. Gardner got that one hit to lead off the inning, but other than that, getting the first guy out was huge for me.
Our superlatives were there all night. We know how terrific you were tonight, but if somebody just tuned in and they didn't see the game, they said, Cliff, how'd you do tonight? What would you say?
I say I did pretty good. Anytime you can get that deep in the game without giving up a run, you got to feel good about it. So I'm pleased with the outing, and a lot of credit goes to Josh there in the first, giving us that lead. That was huge for us.
That was better than pretty good. It was terrific. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, EJ.
All right, thank you, Craig, and thank you, Cliff Lee, who's 3-0 in this postseason now. And how's this for a strikeout to walk ratio? 34 strikeouts, 1 walk in 3 starts this postseason. Our final score tonight, 8-0 Rangers. Be sure to tune in tomorrow on TBS for Game 4 between the Rangers and Yankees. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with TBS MLB on deck, presented by Jeep. For Ron Darling, John Smoltz, Craig Sager, and the rest of the crew, this is Ernie Johnson saying goodnight from New York. TBS is your exclusive home for the American League Championship Series. After the break, stay tuned for Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. See you tomorrow night, folks.